In this video, we'll try to answer two questions.
Is Carrick-a-Rede Rope Bridge one of the world's scariest, as touted by Travel and Leisure in 2022? And was the bridge an actual shooting location for the HBO hit series Game of Thrones?
Stay tuned for the answers.
On day 9 of our continuing Irish road trip, we'd already seen the dark hedges and grabbed breakfast in Bushmills before heading out to the Antrim coast. The entrance to the car park at Carrick-a-Rede was seriously steep, so that made us wonder about the walk awaiting us. It was a chilly, blustery day on the coast, with wild waves and stunning scenery. Halfway to the bridge, we topped a rise and saw how far we still had to go.
I usually enjoy hiking. Today, however, wasn't going to be my day. We got home late last night, got up early. When we got to the coast and walked towards the bridge, the weather was crappy. I had a minor problem with one foot due to a defective shoe. I don't particularly care for heights, and the prospect of walking across a narrow suspension bridge that's probably swaying in the wind all of a sudden became less attractive. In my head, I could only see the pictures of the original bridge.
In his defense, Chris is usually a good sport, and he did dare to climb Flat Top Mountain in Alaska and braved the trip to the tip top of the Eiffel Tower for our anniversary.
I decided to go back to the cafe to get some cheese to go along with all my wine.
I wasn't about to miss it, especially since I'd trekked across the Capilano Suspension Bridge back in 2016, which also made Travel and Leisure's list.
That's the turn down to Carrick-a-Rede. There's Karen down there in the red hoodie is going to take the bridge across to the little island, and I'm going to stay up here.
So this is the last platform before you go down to Carrick-a-Rede Rope Bridge. The views from the island are absolutely worth the heebie-jeebies you get from the crossing. There's a fisherman's cottage on the island that's 400 years old. The original bridge on this site dates back to 1755, when it was built so salmon fishermen wouldn't have to use boats to reach the island. After a good look around Carrick-a-Rede, I queued up for the return trip. While I waited my turn in line, I watched the next group cross over. I was a happy girl. It was well worth the price to cross the bridge and see the island, and the National Trust uses the money to maintain the bridge. Be sure to buy your tickets online in advance and be aware that the bridge does close sometimes because of bad weather. Back on the mainland, I followed the trail a bit farther to get a different perspective and some epic views of the bridge from this angle. The trail is part of a 2-kilometer coastal walk.
So, Karen, is Carrick-a-Rede Rope Bridge one of the world's scariest bridges?
Well, the original bridge, made of rope and with only one handrail, absolutely was. But today's bridge of steel wire and Douglas fir with 2 handrails is much sturdier. It does move and swing a bit, and it is 95 feet above the rocky Atlantic. So if you're spooked by either heights or a moving bridge, it's certainly possible that you'd think so. So the answer is a resounding maybe. But the history and scenery are amazing, so if you're not afraid of heights or suspension bridges, give it a go.
All right, now to our second question. Was Carrick-a-Rede a shooting location for the Game of Thrones? Our call on this is no.
We saw several Game of Thrones locations while in Ireland and Northern Ireland, and not one of them failed to make it clear that the show was shot there. Although it's very likely that Carrick-a-Rede inspired this scene where Euron Greyjoy sends his brother plunging to his death during a wicked storm in order to inherit the throne of the Ironborn, there's no evidence that there was actually filming in this location. There could, however, have been some clever CGI at work.
But literally, just around the corner is Larrybane Quarry.
It actually serves as an overflow parking for Carrick-a-Rede.
And it was most definitely a filming site for Game of Thrones.
This was the setting for the tournament hosted by King Renly Baratheon and Queen Marjorie, where we first meet Brienne of Tarth. And the area down by the coast was used as Renly Baratheon's camp in the Stormlands. So, you can visit both the Game of Thrones site and one of the world's scariest bridges, plus amazing scenery in one trip.
And if you're looking for more Game of Thrones sites, take a look at our episodes on the real-life King's Road, as well as Downhill Domain and Moosenden Temple.
And if you want more daring heights and great scenery, check out our faux drone shooting at the Cliffs of Moher. Next week, we'll show you our home base for the Antrim coast, a historic old mill, and we'll tell you how you too can stay in an authentic castle, lighthouse, mill, or other remarkable property through the Irish Landmark Trust.
See you next week.